Welcome to Trust AI Partners, where we dive into the cutting edge of tech innovation. Join us as we explore how AI automation is transforming the industry. If you're ready to discover the future of AI innovation and how your company can get ahead, stay tuned and connect with us for more information. I'm your host, Jim Hoover, and today we're joined by Jim Simon, founder and CEO of Jimmy Bar, a functional snack company known for its bars with benefits, high protein, low sugar bars with purpose-driven ingredients. Jim's a tech to CPG crossover founder who scaled into retail, corporate cafeterias, colleges, and healthcare with a unique distribution play. Jim, great to have you here. For listeners who may not know you, could you introduce yourself and give us a 60-second snapshot of Jimmy Bar today?
Yeah, thanks so much, Jim, for having me. And congratulations on your first name. We named the company after it. So Jimmy Bar is a 11-year-old family company. I started with my sister, my brother-in-law, my wife, my nephew. There's just family all over the place. But the original thought was it was based out of my displeasure for the bars and the snacks that were available, whether it be at your local grocery store, the gym, whatever. And our original formula was a date-based bar, which did pretty well. But we realized very early on that America loves protein. And it's even gotten, the love affair with protein and functional ingredients has gotten more intense as things have gone on, which has played into our hand very nicely. But everything we've done has been a little bit different than most founders in the food space. I started this company in my mid-40s. It was the sixth company I've started or ran. So I had some experience, but zero experience in CPG. Didn't know what I was doing. So made it up as I went along. My sister, a chef and a restaurateur, her husband, a chef and restaurateur, they had food experience, food production, but CPG is a different beast than owning a restaurant or owning a bar. So we kind of fumbled our way through it. But because we didn't know what we were doing, and we came in with fresh eyes, we sort of challenged the status quo silently to how CPG works. I don't know if you have interviewed a lot of CPG folks. For the people watching, that means consumer packaged goods. Anything that you buy at a store essentially is CPG. But in our world, it's food products, it's Band-Aids, it's Coca-Cola, anything you buy in a store that's edible. It's a very tricky business. It's not the hardest industry to understand, but it is a very difficult industry to scale because everybody's got their hand in your pocket.
And so, who is Jimmy Bar's ideal customer profile that you're targeting for new account partnerships?
Yeah, you know what? Everyone eats protein bars now. So I would say I always answer this question, health-minded individuals. We skew anywhere from 18 to 59, believe it or not. Our core is that, 24 to 39 person who not necessarily spends their life in the gym. I don't spend my life in the gym, but is thinking about health, is a little more evolved than someone who's going to eat Doritos and Cheetos all day and drink, sugary drinks, is kind of looking to look better in the mirror. Protein is aspirational. Functional ingredients, which we'll get into a little bit, are very aspirational. So you just want to look good in the mirror, right? And you want to live better, feel better. We skew higher end as far as income. Male, female, believe it or not, we're pretty close to 50-50. At one point in time, we skewed heavier female, and I wanted to change that because I wanted to, men tend to be more brand loyal. Women tend to be a little smarter when they shop and they want to see the price and the ingredients, all that. So I'm like, well, let's get the loyal ones. And so we started integrating mixed martial arts and, boxing and that sort of thing to get that male vote. And it's worked. But essentially, health-minded individuals who are just looking to live better and feel better.
And so how do you distinguish between retail versus direct to consumer
Yeah, direct to consumer gives you a couple ways to play directly to find who you're looking for. It's fun. It's not easy. We can't compete with Amazon. We're on Amazon, we're on TikTok, and we're also on Shopify, which is our website. We're also on Walmart.com. So it's easy to find your consumer. It doesn't mean they're going to purchase. It's more fun, frankly. But we've got great relationships with. We're in half the WalMarts in America right now with our protein bars, and then we also do a lot of private label. We do private label for Walmart nationally. We're in every Aldi in America, which is a fantastic grocery chain. We're in a lot of C stores like Chevron. We're going into Cumberland Farm shortly, Circle K, etc. And then kind of our sweet spot has always been sort of these weird niches like colleges. We love colleges. We have sort of a rabid following in colleges, corporate cafeterias, which are also called micro kitchens. We do quite well in, and then hotels and hospitals. We're in probably half the hospitals in America. So we've always kind of attacked the unusual niche as opposed to 99% of healthier brands. They always go for three retailers: Costco, Sprouts, Whole Foods. Especially Whole Foods, Sprouts. They want to get into from day one. We didn't do that, and that's because of the cost of getting in the door is quite high. So we focused weirdly on places where you can actually make money, and we try to sell direct. We try to get rid of the middleman. We go around the middleman, which is very different than most CPG companies.
And so, what's been the most effective method for you in going around the middleman and getting in touch with those uh, retailers or channels that you're going after?
There are some retailers out there, for those who are you familiar with CPG, like retail? Do you know the world?
Somewhat.
All right, so there's something called slotting fees. It's pay to play. So when you're walking through CVS or wherever, those guys paid to be there. Whether it's Coca Cola or some little brand, some protein bar or energy drink or Band-Aids or whatever, they paid to be there. That's sort of the dirty secret of retail, is that it's
Mm.
slotting. Then you go through distributors and they have their hand in your pockets too. It's very hard to make money, but it's a
Hmm.
very high risk reward. So if you build a company that scales nicely, 50 to 100 million is usually the magic number. You can get acquired for a lot of money. And our what we decided to do was just avoid the slotting fee because we did not go out and get institutional money. I self-funded the company until I couldn't anymore, and then I went out to friends and family. We've raised about 5-6 million bucks total over 11 years, which is ridiculously low. Frankly, I should have raised more, and I'm going to raise more, but it forced us to be very fiscally responsible and also look at our P&L every day and try to be profitable as fast as possible. So in 11 years, we've been profitable probably or I'm sorry, about 6 or 7 years. Almost every year we're profitable or pretty damn close. We only had 2 years that we really scaled and said, caution to the wind a little bit. But we just pick the retailers. And I tell any entrepreneur who's asking me, pick the retailers where you can make money. And it all started from my very first sales call in Chicago, which is where we're based and where I was based. Jewel, which is our local hometown, grocery chain. Just like if you're from Philly, it's like what is it in Philly? Stop and Shop or something like that.
Giant. Yeah.
Yeah. You go, I walk in there naively. Hey, I'm Jim. I'm local, blah, blah, blah. He goes, okay, the bar stays okay. We'll let you in. 30,000 bucks per SKU for slotting. And now have to go through KD and all that. And it's just, back of the envelope. I'm like, I can't make any money. This is, I called my sister. I'm like,
Hmm.
our dog won't hunt. We're dead. So she's like, let's just sell other places. We can actually make money. Now, if I was 25 and I was, again, I started the company in my mid 40s. If I was 25, I would have said, oh, let's just get in every door we can. And,
Hmm.
we'll absorb the losses and, let's go get money from VCs. And then they'll set you out on some kamikaze course where, you blow through your cash and then you do a down round. I've already been through that shit in technology. I'm not going to do it again. So that's why this company, I'm like, I'm not taking money from VCs, and there are some good ones. I just chose not to. I'm going to run this company without interference, and we will be profitable as fast as possible. All things that have turned out to be smart, but all things that will hinder your growth. We're probably the biggest of, well, on the larger side of the independent protein bar companies out there, but we're not doing $1 billion in sales. We've grown very, we're due about 28% increase every year, like almost to a T. It's weird how formulaic it's become, which is fantastic, but we could be a much better chose to scale faster.
And how do you know which ones to initiate contact with to avoid those slotting fees?
So now, after been doing this for 10, 11 years, I know every guy who charges slotting and every guy who doesn't charge slotting. Back then, 3, 4, 5 years into it, I was so disturbed by my sales call with Jewel, and then just asking a ton of questions from people in the industry, like, what's this slotting bullshit, and who's Kahee, and Kahee wants me to, pay them and all that kind of stuff. I just said, F it. I'm not doing grocery. Grocery is the most expensive channel.
Mm-hmm.
Next, in drug is a really expensive channel. You can't make money in drug. Grocery, it's very difficult to make money. And so your next question is, well, why is everybody in grocery? Well, you've got Coke and Pepsi and Frito-Lay and guys like that who can absorb the cost. They can also negotiate a heck of a lot better than I can because they come with a lot of muscle, and these companies, these retailers will want them. For small guys starting out, meaning 10 million or less, you can't negotiate. You're in or you're out. And if Jimmy Bar doesn't want to come in, Whole Foods or wherever, there's 1,000 other bar companies that would love to be there, right? So supply and demand. We went into college and we went into corporate micro kitchens, which is, Facebook, Google, Intel, Oracle, all those guys, which it's a great channel. It's clean. It's not as clean as it used to be, but I used to be able to, like, I camped out in Silicon Valley because those are the places I knew really well from my previous life in technology. I got us into Facebook, Google, and Mountain View, Facebook in Menlo Park, Fireman's Fund Insurance, Bloomberg in New York City, like these really cool micro kitchens that they stock with great brands, not, Coke and Frito and Cheeto, nothing wrong with those guys, but that's not what they want to feed their employees. Really good stuff, really, really healthy stuff. So it played into Jimmy Bar very well. From there, our second channel was convenience stores, which you don't traditionally think of as healthy, but they love protein. People who are, and whether it's a Love's Travel Center or it's Wawa in your neck of the woods in Philly, they stop in there. They want, give me a snack, give me a drink, give me a coffee, give me water, and our bars taste really good, which kind of plugs into the next differentiator with us from channel selection to not taking institutional money was self-manufacturing. So in our third year in business, and we were using what's called a co-packer, which is a company that manufactures the product for you, because it's very hard to start up on day one, not only learning CPG, which is inherently sort of difficult, but also saying, okay, we're going to make these bars. I don't know jack shit about making bars. My sister wanted me to, so she's like, I've been making asabuco for 30 years. I can figure out how to make a bar. And I'm like, nah, let's be a sales and marketing company. Let's not own a manufacturing plant. Be like, she was right, I was wrong. So year 3, after like stewing our last 3 co-packers, we started our own manufacturing plant. And so now we're one of the few companies, if you're looking at the challenger brands, that actually self-manufacture their own bars. There's probably just a handful. All the big institutional brands out there use co-packers. They don't self-manufacture. Give us a little edge, I think, and that is we can pick our suppliers, our chocolate, our peanut butter, our milk protein suppliers, have a one-to-one relationship, control who's actually making the product, meaning our people make the product, not some schmo off the streets that they got some from some temp agency that doesn't give a damn about Jimmy Bars. That stuff matters, and you taste the difference. So when you taste a Jimmy Bar, and I'll send you samples, versus a national brand, there's no comparison. And that's because when a company gets acquired, there's no heart left. It's owned by private equity guys or some big, company where we're one of 4,000 different brands. You taste the difference.
So I would think when you think about the educational channels, the convenience stores, and I'm sure there's several others, it's a pretty wide open, pretty broad-based, total addressable market. How difficult is it to get in front of the decision makers and just open the conversation and expose them to the product?
It's as difficult as you make it. I mean, I'm a sales guy at heart. I like prospecting. I like hunting. In sales, you need hunters and you need farmers. You need the people who are going to go out there and know how to use LinkedIn and will find the buyer. Give me 10 minutes and I'll find the buyer of any chain in America or come damn close. At least start, if you say, hey, find the buyer of loves travel centers for bars. I'm going to go on LinkedIn and I'm going to start just shooting out LinkedIn saying, hey, I know you're not the bar buyer and it says you're the liquor buyer, but who's the bar buyer? We're a cool family business and we'd love to work with Loves. It's hustling. It's grit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I like C Stores, probably my favorite channel, is that it caters to the hunter. It caters very much to the entrepreneur because there are no C stores, there is no Costco, Sprouts, or Whole Foods, or Albertsons, or Kroger of C stores. The largest chain is 7-Eleven. They've got less than 10% of the business. It's very regional. So it caters to that person who's willing to hunt, willing to go stay in Louisville, Kentucky, to call on Thornton's, call on Town Pump, and I think it's Wyoming. Go out to all these places all over all of America to hunt and get sales and to grind and hustle. What our business is all about. What we found is that's really good business and it's profitable because no one walks into a C store looking for a bargain. I mean, our bars are middle priced, actually maybe even lower, but it's been a nice channel for us. Also, private label has been great for us too. So we private label a lot, and we're just basically private labeling our own intellectual property, which is our own bars, and that's been a nice business for us too.
Got it. And so when you think back over the history, the past 11 years, what's been the biggest win that you're proud of? And then on the flip side of that, the hardest lesson learned that you would have changed if you could go back in time?
Hardest lesson's easy, money. You got to have access to capital. And when you grow, you need more money. Capital
Mm-hmm.
in our industry is a pig. Growth is a capital pig. What I was trying to say. You keep growing, you need more money. And I was joking with my wife. We went from 0 in sales to 3 million to 6 million to 9 to 12 to 20 to on up from there. And it's just you just need capital, especially when you self-manufacture. So when you get a big purchase order for $2 million from Sam's Club or whoever, you got to go out and get cash. And it's not the kind of business where it's cash is coming in constantly. It's not like a restaurant where you're paid in cash. You're giving out 60-day terms, 65-day terms, but I've got to go buy those peanuts, and sometimes I have to pay cash out of pocket, or I'm getting 30-day terms. So it's always the cash flow. So any entrepreneur, I tell you better get used to hustling and grinding and finding cash, unless you got a rich daddy or rich uncle or rich sugar mom or something. You have to go find cash. I prefer using angels. Some people like VCs or private equity, whatever is your thing. Get money. So that's a lesson. I didn't raise enough money. Positives is that our self-manufacturing stance, although painful at times, has been really freaking smart. It makes us so different. We innovate so fast. I'm going to give a shameless plug here. Our creatine bar, which is first to market. We're the only guys with a creatine bar. I don't know if you're familiar with creatine, but it's an amino acid. It's great for building muscle. Now they're finding it's great for brain health, alertness, focus. I eat 1 or 2 of these a day. I'm kind of a spaz because it just gives you so much energy along with 20 grams of protein. So creatine, we're first to market. We came up with Immune Bar during COVID, first to market. We innovate so fast. And so I would say for any brand, instead of being a follower, be first if you can, if you've got that in your DNA. That's what we've done very well.
And so, what are the most important core KPIs that guide your weekly decisions?
Sales. I'm old school. Sales, P&L.
Mm-hmm.
Money in, money out, right? So, there's also the cash flow that equates to that. But we are a ridiculously sales focused organization. Only because, companies take on the identity of their founder. I'm a sales guy. And so we're very sales focused. when we talk to our salespeople, what are you doing? What's your pipeline? Are you hustling? Are you, sitting back on your laurels? Go, 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 go. That's our environment. And then on the manufacturing front, which my sister runs, their KPIs are: can we get better product cheaper? Can we find a better wrapper supplier? Can we get more? Can we get more out of less people? Can we save money in the factory? The stuff that's falling on the floor, can we prevent it from falling on the floor? All that kind of stuff. Like any manufacturing plants, we're just trying to get as much output with a little cost and making a product that tastes really good. I'll sort of end it with this. I know we're down to 1 minute here. But when you look at bars and you taste bars, no pun intended, the bar is fairly low. You'll find brands where people are buying based on macros: high protein, low sugar. Whether it tastes good or not, they're going to buy it because it's got really high protein and really low sugar. Our stance is, let's be high protein, low sugar, but let's taste good. And so we really push that we use natural ingredients, meaning peanut and peanut butter are our number 1 and 2 ingredients in every bar we make. And not many people can say that. So we're out of the high protein guys, which are 15 grams or more per bar. We're, I think, the only guys that use real ingredients is the first ingredient, which sounds kind of crazy, but that's sort of the reality.
Let me stop and just ask you. I want to be respectful of your time. Do you have a hard stop?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see what's next. I think I got a 12 o'clock. Yeah, I've got a 12 o'clock. I can go on for a couple more minutes and be late. Does that work for you?
That's okay. I'll do a wrap up, and then we can always schedule a follow-up call if that makes sense. Okay? All right. Before I wrap up the conversation, is there anything else specific that you wanted to put out there for the audience in terms of product, branding, marketing, events, or number 1 priorities, or how people can get in touch with you for more information?
Yeah, I mean, jimmybars.com is always the best way to get a hold of us. I'm Jim at jimmybars.com. It's a real easy email to remember. For those who are watching, who are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs in the food space, everything that we talked about before, Jim, and that is, make sure you got money. Self-manufacture if you can. Branding is very, very important, but it's not everything. We always say build a company, not a brand, which is, again, very atypical to, how LinkedIn is full of experts and you can't even turn on TikTok without, people giving advice on something. I always tell people, build a company, not just a brand. Don't just build a brand. And then what happens is the brand doesn't work out and you don't have a company. So we're launching a lot of things that are non-bar right now. You're going to see in the market, but the Creatine bars are our new thing that we're working on a massive deal right now globally for Creatine. It's going to take our company to the next level. But it's a very much consumer packaged goods, like any business, other than maybe engineering. It's a hustler's game. You got to hustle. You got to get out there every day and bang out calls.
Jim, thanks for taking us inside Jimmy Bar's growth journey and where the category's headed in 2025. For listeners who want to follow along, we'll link Jimmy Bar and Jim's interviews in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and share. This is Trust AI Partners, helping leaders turn data into decisions with automation. I'm Jim Hoover. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks again, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for having me.